Alright, fellow gamers, I am now going to give you my full review of F.E.A.R Extraction Point official DLC to F.E.A.R. This is my full review after just having played this DLC. I have finished the entire thing, and this review is coming just at the end of playing the last video. That's where this is coming from. So, I really enjoyed F.E.A.R Extraction Point DLC. I feel that it picked up exactly from where the end of F.E.A.R was, where Alma climbs onto the helicopter. F.E.A.R Extraction Point literally picks right up from the end of that and carries on with that storyline of you trying to escape the Auburn City or Auburn District area where we are. So the helicopter ends up crashing, and we basically have to fight our way through the hotel areas, and then through these warehouses, and then through into a subway, which will connect to a medical center, where then we can be extracted. Literally, the name of the DLC is Extraction Point, because our goal is to be extracted from the Auburn district area. That is really nice that you have that direct connection to the first game, picks up directly after that, so it's pretty much an extension of the first game. It is pretty much just F.E.A.R continued in that way. So I like that. And one question I had going into the DLC was, is it still going to give us the creep factor? Because now Alma is out in the world. But is she still going to be haunting us? Are we still going to get the creepiness that F.E.A.R had? Can we still have that in all these different areas? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. We can have those scary moments. We have Alma haunting us, or popping around corners, or showing up in weird locations. We have the blood on the ceiling, the bodies dragged everywhere. We have the ominous music going on in our ears. We have Paxton Fettel also showing up, and what a big surprise that was, that at the end of F.E.A.R, we killed Paxton, remember? But he still survives somehow. I guess perhaps he is a ghost now. He is in a ghostly form. Did Alma save him or bring him back? These are questions we don't have answers to at this point in time. We don't know exactly what or how he is able to be here, but we do still have a ghost Paxton Fettel. Let's just call him Ghost Fettel. Ghost Fettel is haunting us as well. And so it does have that creep factor as you play along, and you also get these cutscenes where you are driven into that ghostly world where you have to fight the ghosts, or you get to experience some of the stuff, I guess, that Alma experienced. You have this dungeon area, an asylum area, and these things are very creepy and just add to the overall creepiness of the game. So yes, F.E.A.R Extraction Point absolutely carries on the creep factor of F.E.A.R. So kudos to them for bringing that forward and continuing that in the DLC. Because what they could have done is they could have just made an all-action DLC. You could certainly do that with the F.E.A.R series and just make an all-action kind of thing. But what makes it F.E.A.R is that F.E.A.R. So they had that, and I really enjoyed that a lot. So good on them for doing that. Now let's talk a little bit about plots and theories and that sort of thing. As I mentioned, I do question and wonder how Paxton Fettel is alive. Did we not really kill him? Or if we did, is he now a ghost? Is Alma the one that brought him back? So I have that big lingering question. But one of my biggest questions really is, what are Alma's intentions? Because we kind of find that throughout this game, she is helping us. By the end of F.E.A.R, we realize, or she realizes who we are. She knows that we are now her son. We are connected to her. And it seems like there are a lot of times that Alma is helping us. She's guiding us through, and like giving us help and taking out enemies along the way, taking out some of the soldiers that we come across, or giving us, opening a door for us, making a way forward. But then there's other times that she's haunting us, scaring us, sending ghosts after us, and trying to stop us. So there's a duality here. There's a split personality of Alma. And I think that actually may be the answer I'm looking for, because we learn at the end of this DLC, one of the cutscenes that we're thrown into in the morgue is this idea of a child Alma and an adult Alma. And they're looking at each other, walking toward each other. So is it that there are almost not two entities, but two personalities of Alma, two ghostly personalities of Alma, the child personality and the adult one, the one that has not been tortured and the one that has been tortured. So the one that has not been tortured and is innocent is the one that's helping us through the game. But the one that has been tortured and has all this rage, she's the one that's haunting us through the game and obviously causing havoc on the world outside, as we see. So is it that there's these two personalities and they're trying to like come together, they're looking at each other, and I think that's what this DLC was alluding to. Let me know what your theories about that are below and what you think about that, but I think that makes a lot of sense if there's like two personalities of Alma, right? The child and the adult. So that could explain a lot of that. And yeah, it'd be interesting to dive into that more, because that seems like a plausible theory anyway. So those are my thoughts about that. Let's talk about the gameplay in this DLC. They introduced some new game mechanics that F.E.A.R did not have. One of those that I really enjoyed was the little sniper fest we got to do. We got to go on the top of a tower and have like a little sniper session and help out one of our companions. And we got to snipe from a distance. So that was fun. There were also a couple of more newer game mechanics that they threw at us in this game, just showing that they are evolving and progressing what they could do with the game engine and the game itself. You know, kind of pushing things forward just a little bit, not in an extreme way, but just showing, hey, it's been a year, we've had more time to play with our game engine, here's a couple of new things that we can do to really, you know, give you some new gameplay and new things to try out. And we also had some really tough enemies. We had a couple of mech guys, or guys in mech suits, in the parking garage, and that was really tough, but that was also a lot of fun. But that was new. We had those were the heaviest armored things we have come up yet against in a F.E.A.R game, and those were really tough to deal with. So that was a new thing. Also, we had some new weapons. We had the laser carbine, I believe it was called. So a laser weapon, an energy weapon. That was a lot of fun to play with and definitely was useful. We also had the minigun, and I don't know if F.E.A.R had the minigun or not. I actually can't recall, because I never used it, if it did. But for sure, this DLC had the minigun that you could grab and use. And so that was also exciting. And in this game, I used weapons that I did not use in my original playthrough of F.E.A.R. So I used the shotgun. Pretty much that was my go-to mainstay weapon in this playthrough, whereas in F.E.A.R it was the assault rifle. But in this one it was the shotgun, and that was a lot of fun. The shotgun was a lot of fun. But then I also tried to mix it up and use other weapons that I didn't use so much in the original playthrough of F.E.A.R. So that was fun, using different weapons and different weapon types in the DLC, and I'll probably continue to do that. I think there's another DLC, correct me if I'm wrong, Perseus Mandate, and so I will play it as well, and I'll probably do the same thing. And so that was fun, trying those new weapons and new weapons. I also learned that I definitely have played this before. In its original, when it originally came out in 2006, I did play this. I just didn't remember most of it, but there were a few scenes that I did remember, like going down that subway tunnel. There were a few things that I remembered along the way, but mostly I did not remember it, and I did not remember how it ended. So that was important here also. So for me, it was a very close to new experience, because even though I did play it, I don't remember it that well. But I can tell that, yeah, I did play it at least once. So I don't know about the next one, Perseus Mandate. I want to say that there is a multiplayer component to this. There's like one game that's just all multiplayer. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I actually don't know. I'm going to have to look all this up and figure out what to do next. But if there is a second DLC here, I will play that. If not, this will be the last one for the original F.E.A.R playthrough, but we'll see. Again, I'll have to research that because I don't know the answer to that right this second. So that was a lot of fun. Now let's talk a little bit about the graphics. I am a graphics guy. I'm a GPU guy. I love the graphics in a game. So I can tell that they obviously they're using the same graphics engine that they used from the original F.E.A.R game, but they've amped up the art assets, is what it seems like to me. They just have maybe slightly higher resolution textures. The lighting is a little more extreme and bright, and just a lot of those stark contrasts between light and dark in the game, where you have like really dark corners and really dark areas, and then really bright lit things that are casting shadows far away. And they used that a lot more in this game, in the DLC here. And they had some really, really cool scenes where like light was shooting down through fans or coming through like fog and smoke, and they used that really well. And it looked like to me the texture quality was a little bit better. I really liked the variance in the level designs that we got with this DLC. So in F.E.A.R, a lot of it was just outside like warehouses kinds of things, right? Mostly warehouses. You did have the office buildings as well, so it was office buildings or warehouses. But in Extraction Point, they amped that up with some new areas. Yes, we did have the office building area. That was still an area. We did have warehouses. That was still an area. But now we also had a subway area. That was completely new. So the art assets to build the subway, that was done really well. We had to walk through a subway and then have many areas inside that subway station that were just really, really cool looking. But the one that really stood out to me that I enjoyed the best was the hospital. At the end of this DLC, that hospital is done so well. The textures are crisp, they're sharp. It looks really good in there. The lighting is good. I love a good medical setting. Anything with an asylum or a hospital is great for that scare factor, that fear factor. The blood that was everywhere, the blood pools, just that whole hospital area was just chef's kiss. That was beautiful, and that really upped that creep factor quite a bit, and I really enjoyed that in Extraction Point. So that was very exciting. I'm trying to think if there's really anything else I want to touch on with this DLC. Oh yeah, the length of time that the DLC took. So this DLC was a pretty good length. So let's think about this. The original F.E.A.R game, I think, took me 13 or 14 hours. I think maybe around 13 and a half hours, something like that to play. That's what my time in Steam says when I just did my playthrough of F.E.A.R. So around 13 hours to play F.E.A.R. And that's kind of taking my time. You could probably blow through it a lot faster if you wanted, but let's just say 13 hours to play F.E.A.R, right? For F.E.A.R Extraction Point, this took me 6 hours. I'm 6 videos in on this, and each one's about an hour. This took me 6 hours. That's half of the game of F.E.A.R. That's half of the game of F.E.A.R. That's pretty lengthy for a DLC. That's a pretty good length DLC. So Extraction Point, actually a pretty good, lengthy follow-up DLC to F.E.A.R. And I enjoyed that. It's not short. You could just blow through it quicker, I assume. But if you just go through it at a normal pace like I did and have fun with it, yeah, you're looking at a pretty good amount of time there, which adds a whole lot more to F.E.A.R. So that's a really good length of a DLC here, and so I was impressed by that, because sometimes you can get really short DLCs or ones that don't add a lot, but this one actually added a lot. They improved from the 2005 F.E.A.R. and gave us more a year later. So this did come out 1 year after F.E.A.R., 2006 versus 2005, and you could definitely tell there was an improvement in that year. And so that gets me excited for the things to come next. Obviously, like I said, I will check to see if there is a second DLC here. I do think Perseus Mandate is something. I don't know if it's the DLC or if it's the other thing I'm thinking about, but I will look that up for sure. And if it is, I will talk about that when I start that. And then obviously there is F.E.A.R. 2 and F.E.A.R. 3, and I have played those games. So I do intend to play those games in the future. So if you would like to see those games on this channel, you want to see me play those, you want to see me continue the F.E.A.R. series, leave a like on this video and subscribe, and we'll see those in the future. But for now, I think that's where we're going to end my F.E.A.R. Extraction Point DLC review. I enjoyed playing this DLC. If you have not yet, go back and watch my playthrough of F.E.A.R., the original F.E.A.R. game. I just did a whole playthrough of F.E.A.R. and then concluded it here with Extraction Point. So if you haven't seen that F.E.A.R. playthrough, go watch that F.E.A.R. playthrough on my channel. That's also a lot of fun. And then this follows up on that playthrough. And now I have played both of these things, and what a cohesive story and a fun story and a really, really compelling storyline and plot. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to the game developers who put this game together, the writers, the artists, everything that goes into making a game like this and continuing on the story. You can tell they have a passion for it. And they loved making F.E.A.R. They loved making F.E.A.R. Extraction Point. You can tell that a lot of love went into it, and so just thank you to the developers for putting this out there and allowing us to enjoy it and allowing me to enjoy it, because I do enjoy it. And I also want to give a shout out to all the people who watched these videos and watched through all of my F.E.A.R. playthrough and my F.E.A.R. Extraction Point playthrough. Thank you for watching all the videos and spending your time with me, giving me your time to watch or listen to these videos. I definitely appreciate it, and I do this for you guys so that I can put all these fun games out there for you to see and be entertained by. So thank you all for watching that. Have a good one. Stay tuned for the next one.